This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
What's up, everybody? I'm back for another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Ariel Atkins. Ariel, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good. Appreciate you coming on.
Yep. Anytime.
So let's go back in time a little bit. When was the first time you remember playing basketball?
First time I remember playing basketball. I would have to say I went to a private school out in Dallas called Fellowship Christian Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And the church connected to that is OCBF. So they have their own little league. I think it's called Turnaround League. That's my first time I remember playing, actually. I remember the jersey. I honestly still think I have the jersey, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's the first time I remember playing basketball. I was really excited about the snacks after the game. That was the most important thing to me.
That's dope. All right, so then I got to ask you, since you remember that, do you remember what jersey number you were?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 15. Yeah, I think it was 15.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you grew up in Texas. During high school, what was your recruiting process like?
I feel like I want to say my recruiting process is a little different, just because my mom was pretty much all over the place. Where do you want to go to school? Do you want to stay in state? Are you okay with going out of state? So it was just a little different in the sense that I actually committed before my senior year even started. I committed to UT. So my recruiting process wasn't too crazy. It was honestly pretty chill. My family just helped me make the decision, wrote out a pros and cons list, prayed about it, chose UT.
Was there any other school, or that was it?
Yeah, mostly local schools like Texas schools.
Okay.
Baylor was definitely – my top two was Baylor and UT.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was your overall experience like at Texas?
Yeah, college is interesting. Everybody has their own take on it. Being a collegiate hooper, student athlete, is tough, period, regardless of what sport you play. But I've met a lot of really great people at Texas, namely a couple of my professors and a few of the coaches there that I have a pretty close relationship with now. So overall, I think it was a good experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but I would not do it again.
All right. All right. While you were at Texas, when was your aha moment that you knew you could be a pro basketball player?
Yeah, I would have to say around my junior-ish year, kind of in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
I was having a conversation with one of my coaches, and it was just more in depth about it. And it was really shocking because I didn't feel like I had the career that I wanted to have at Texas. Although we did go to the NCAA tournament, we got to the Elite Eight. I think it was my sophomore year. I never got to that Final Four. I never got to play for that title. And we never won a Big 12 title. So that was one of my huge goals at Texas. So I didn't really know much about the draft process. I knew you have to be one of the top players in the country. I didn't feel like I was one of the top players in the country or anything. But throughout my entire time at Texas, I had really good coaches that just kind of spoke that into me. One of them being Travis Mays. He's the first one that put the bug in my ear. He was just you're already a pro. He was you handle yourself like a pro. And if it's something that you want to do, you absolutely can do it. And then with him leaving, and then Coach Tina coming in and being just very adamant about it. She's I've been a pro. I've done it all. She was you're more than capable. You can do it. So with those two in their career and what they have done, and them just kind of speaking that into me, was very reassuring. But it was also kind of okay, maybe I can do this. And then I was looking at the draft boards, and then I was seeing people's names who were on there. And then I was all right, maybe I can really do this. Let's see what's going on, pretty much.
All right, so then I got to ask you, before you thought you could go pro, what did you think you were going to do?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't even know why I thought I wasn't gonna go pro, but I never really thought that I wasn't gonna do it. It just wasn't 100% on my mind. I did get my degree in sport management and a minor in business, so that's kind of the path that I was going on. But once I figured out I wanted to go pro and really go for it, I mean, that was my plan A.
Yeah.
It's I'm going pro. All right, what I got to do to get there.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And then take me through your draft day.
Yeah, so draft day, I drove down to Dallas because I was in Austin at the time. I wasn't in New York. I was with my family, so we drove down that day. I drove down with my sister who was staying with me in Austin, and pulled up. My parents are like really excited. We have no idea what's gonna go on. I have no idea if I'm getting drafted first round, second round, or at all. But my whole family was there just because always supported me, always.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had balloons. My dad, he owns a chicken joint in Dallas, in Duncanville specifically. So he made some food for us at the house. Both my grandmothers were there, uncles, aunts, a few cousins. Really good moment because I never get to share my big basketball moments with my family, with most of my family. More often than not, it's either my mom or my dad, or my mom and my dad, or it's my brother or my sister. It's never like my grandmothers, my cousins, my aunts. So it was really like, it was just such a loving environment. Like it felt really good to be there. Like no matter what happened, like I'd be fine because I had them there. And then draft comes on, chilling. We're all talking, first round. Yeah, you pretty much know it's going down 1 through 3. After that, everything's like, okay, what's about to go down? Cheering on people that I've played against since forever, happy for them. I think we had a pretty dope class, pretty talented class coming into the draft. So it was exciting to see everybody get drafted. And then the Dallas at 6, my mom was like, oh, I want you to come to Dallas. And I'm like, okay, they have absolutely every guard, like
Mm-hmm.
I was going to Dallas, like who knows, but wasn't staying home, so that was cool or whatever. And then the 7th pick came in, and my name was called, and I didn't have any like Coach T didn't call me before. Nobody called me. It was like, yo, you might get picked early, yada yada yada. I honestly was not even thinking like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go 7th. So I go 7th, and whole family just butts out screaming, and just joyous and just happy because got picked 7 to go to the WNBA. This is the highest of the high. This is the last level of basketball for me. So for them, it was like, man, like she really did it. Like, and in my head, it's like, yo, we really did it. Like, we really made it to the WNBA, to the highest point. I mean, besides the Olympics, but to the highest point of basketball for my career. And so, yeah, we all screamed, hollered for about 5 minutes, played it back at least 100 times. And then just had some good food, had some good conversations, and then everybody trying to figure out which Washington it was. So yeah.
Wait, so you had no idea that you knew right when they picked you on TV?
Yeah, I knew, like that's when I found out I was on TV.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why, because you guys don't have you didn't have like no combine or anything, right?
No, we didn't. I don't even know I don't know much about that, but I didn't do a combine or anything. Yeah. And sometimes I guess coaches call them. No, I didn't get any type of call. I just knew to be watching the draft, and that was it.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was a really good moment though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then what about what was it like to just step on the court for the first time as a WNBA player?
Yeah, it was dope, man. I'm playing against people that I used to have like posters on the wall. Like it's wild. Like literally when you're playing against people that you've looked up to since forever, it's pretty cool. But like I've always said, like you got to flip that switch real quick. Because everybody's coming out for blood in a sense. Like it's game time. So it was definitely really interesting to not only just be out there, but I just felt really blessed to be a part of a league that like I knew as a kid growing up. I think I've said this in a couple of my other interviews. Like our class is the first class to ever grow up like with the entirety of the WNBA. Like I don't remember a time when there wasn't a WNBA because unless people talk about it, but like I don't know, like I didn't see that. So for me, it was just really, it was a surreal moment being around people that I've looked up to for a really long time and becoming one of those people for other younger girls and younger boys who look up to WNBA players. It's a really surreal feeling, even to this day. Like I'm super thankful, and I don't take any of it for granted.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you went all rookie team, and you got your 2-time defensive second team,
Yeah,
and then you won the championship last year. What was it like what was that feeling like to win the championship?
man, I haven't won a championship. So my first championship that I like ever won that was like really big to me was my state championship. Winning the championship in Texas is huge because sports are huge in
High
Texas.
school, right?
Yeah, high school. So I hadn't won anything like title-wise since high school. So I just didn't really know how I was gonna feel or whatever. But we're playing for the championship, and I'm like, yo, like this is real life. Like I'm really here, like on the highest stage, women's basketball, arguably in the world, and about to win a ring. Like it was a really surreal moment again, because it's like it's year 2. Like what?
Yeah.
It's like I'm actually playing. Like I'm not just there. Like I'm playing. And I'm like literally fighting for year 2 of the league. Man, I'll just say to that, like prayer works, yo. And I'm not saying like I pray like God, please let me win a championship, but it was one of those things where like you just pray for peace of mind. You just pray to let God lead you. And I was thankful to end up in DC. And I'm really glad that I'm a part of an organization that believes in me, and likes my character and likes who I am as a person. And we were able to do some pretty dang good things.
It's 5 o'clock.
So yeah.
That just scared me for a second. Anyways,
My laptop. I be on my computer so much, so I have a thing that like tells me every hour like what time it is. Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
Yeah, I just be on it so much. So like if I hear it, it's like, oh snap, I really been on here for like 2 hours. So yeah.
I got you. Yeah. Did you know what the rings were gonna look like before you got them?
No, they didn't tell us anything. They didn't even like nothing. So when we saw them, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Actually, one of our owners, Sheila Johnson, and Taylor Young's wife, and Coach Tebow's wife, kind of helped them out a little bit. Thank God.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I know you guys didn't get to have the parade because of like coronavirus, right?
Yeah,
you had like a event, right?
Yeah, we had a like very, very small event. It was just the team, and a few of the staff members that were on at the time. But yeah, it was a super small event at the Salamander Resort out in Virginia or Maryland. I still don't understand which way I'm going. DMV is one thing, but yeah, we were out in the Salamander Resort, and we had a pretty dope event put on by our owners, and we got our rings.
What's your experience been like overseas?
Yeah, overseas is different. I personally didn't like it my first year simply because I was away from my family for a really long time. I was in a foreign country. I didn't speak the language, and it was just tough. I had a really good vet in Charnay Zoll-Norman. She was very helpful to navigate things, and she spoke Polish. Polish, yeah. She spoke the language there, so that was very helpful for me as well. But by my second year, I went to Australia, and it was a lot easier. I was able, for one, they speak English as well, so that was absolutely easy, and Australia is beautiful. But I think a few things that I've learned from being overseas, one is just learning how to embrace the culture, like what it is, just being a part of it, and not being afraid to get to know things, you get to try things, be it food or music or, what have you, just different things like that. And then the basketball in Europe is different. It's more crafty. It's just a lot of different things going on. But it's also fun because it makes you kind of bring out things in your game that you wouldn't necessarily know you had to do. So that's the fun part. And then just getting to know the people. People are different everywhere. So those are just kind of the 3 things that I enjoy about going overseas.
Yeah. What about where were you when just like the virus hit? Were you still overseas or were you back here?
Yeah, so when it got really crazy, I believe it was about March. I was actually in Texas with my family.
Oh, so that was good.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Actually, Australia is doing really well. I think they have fans and stuff back already.
Yeah, they're probably. We got a lot going on in America, man. Like
We're not doing good.
Conversation, yeah.
So yeah, going into that, how is the bubble?
Yeah, we here, man. Everybody keeps asking me that, and I just really don't know how to respond.
Does it feel like a summer camp / like dream?
Yeah, I would say it feels like a summer camp in the sense that we're around people. We're around people that we normally wouldn't see all the time.
Mhm.
We pretty much have an enclosed space where we all can be. There's not much you can do. You got to create your own fun and find ways to be creative. And yeah, that's the bubble.
So what so what about, since you basically play all year round, and
Mhm,
this is kind of like, so it's kind of different for you guys because you're technically still would be playing anyways.
mhm.
But, so you think this rest will help you?
Um, rest goes two ways. It could be really good, or it could also be
Well, you're
really
young
bad.
too, so
Yeah. Being a young athlete, I don't even know if that matters, the way that our bodies get banged up. But I think rest is good simply because like it gives your body time to
yeah.
relax, and it also gives you time to recharge with whatever it is that helps you recharge. Like for one, me, it's family. So being able to just be around my family and take in all that love that I don't get to really just get because I'm never really at home. So that feels really good. But on the flip side of that, like timing and different things as far as like being an athlete and being a basketball player that it takes to be a good basketball player, as far as like rhythm and flow and different things. I think that's a tough part about taking time off. But rest is definitely important. I've learned that over my time. Yeah.
All right. Do you set goals for yourself before the season?
Yeah, I didn't set goals for myself before this one. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think we were gonna have a season.
Okay.
So that's something that's still in the works. And then me being out here now, and seeing the team that we do have and seeing where I stand on that, is something that I'm definitely taking my time to not stress about, but just finding little ways to get better every day right now is my main thing, to be honest.
Yeah. What about like, how do you feel about, some players opting out and some players opting in?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got some,
Yeah.
everybody's got to do their own. I've always been an advocate of minding my own business because at the end of the day, Ariel's got to do what Ariel's got to do. And I feel that way for everyone else. People gonna do what they got to do, either to take care of their families, or to be with their families. I mean, everybody's got their own obligation to do what they feel. And like I said, I'm saying it again, like my prerogative as Ariel is to mind Ariel's business. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Since you do have not the same team as last year because people opted out and stuff like that, like, do you guys to like build new chemistry, and do you think you guys have a chance of, going back to back?
Yeah, for sure. I think with the chemistry piece is 100%. I'm the only starter returning, so it's definitely a chemistry. Lay wasn't here last year. Essence wasn't here last year. Kiera, this is her first year actually playing with this. Who else? AC Elena Coates. Am I missing somebody? I mean, Shay's back, but Shay was kind of with us last year too. It's just a lot of different moving pieces. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes us to get that chemistry. But I'm excited about it because we already have chemistry off the court. So I think it's one of those things that'll just take time to flow for us to get to know each other and what each other likes to do on the court. I think that'll be extremely fun. And this championship run, I think, is anybody's game this year, honestly. This is an interesting and an historic year, not only for the world, but for the WNBA to me. Um, I couldn't tell you who I think is like top notch, top tier, or whatever. Like, I think it's anybody's game this year.
It could be just whoever gets hot at the right time.
Hey, yeah, that's a strong possibility. I mean, it's 22 games.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, the other positive is I feel like the WNBA is getting actually more media coverage now.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the league. I think a lot of the vets in this league now, from what I've seen, I've been here for going on 3 years now, are really trying to lead this league better than they found it. And I appreciate that, and I 100% want to be a part of that, and keep pushing that needle for not only women in sports, but women, period.
Yeah. Like, what else do you want to see changed, like in the WNBA or just women's sports in general?
Well, for one, we're talking about equal pay. I don't know if equal pay is the right word,
Yeah.
but in order for us to get paid more, in my opinion, we have to have more media coverage. We have to allow more people to see us. I think sponsors being able to kind of break that barrier, not being afraid to put money where their mouth is, or put the money into women's sports. We're just as marketable, you know?
Mhm.
So I think that piece is really huge. And that's kind of my main thought with that. A lot of the things that we market within the WNBA or like our partner within WNBA. Like I really appreciate the high marquee sponsors, and I'm really excited about it. But there are some brands that I feel like we should have obvious sponsorships or obvious partners with. I'm not gonna say them out loud because they don't sponsor me. But yeah, I just think there's obvious brands that we could have sponsorships with. I mean, partnerships with. So I think if we could kind of go that route, it would not only help us more, but it could get us more coverage. Also, I'm not in the front office. I don't know if they are doing that or trying to do that. They very well possibly could be. So, yeah.
Do you think you're underrated?
Uh, Possibly, yeah, a little bit. I think a lot of people see me as like a spacer shooter. There's a lot that I feel like I can do with my game, and I guess it'll come out over time. The more that I guess I'm able to get on the ball or even off the ball. But yeah, I would say yeah, I think I'm underrated a little bit.
I had to ask you because I was going to say you are.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, a little bit. I feel like I got a lot in my tank. But it's also about confidence, like me doing it in the game and not just doing it in drills or in practice. Being able to pull out everything from the game. Working on that for sure.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to a little girl or a little boy trying to make a pro league or get a D1 scholarship?
Yeah, I would say for one, you got to work hard. No matter if it's in sports or whatever you want to do, whatever you're passionate about. The word passion gets me because a lot of people are like, "Oh, what's your passion? What's your passion?" A passion is not something that you like for a week. It's something that's kind of like in you. It's something that you really want to do. But I have to say, work hard at it every single day. Find a way to get better, even if it's dribbling the ball outside or if it's watching clips, if it's mentally training yourself so you can be mentally tougher than the next person, and never be outworked. Like those are my two things that I still tell myself to this day. So I think it's important to instill that early because the older you get, the tougher it gets and the mentally tougher that you have to get.
All right. Are you ready for some fun questions? They're going to go from average to savage.
Let's get it.
What's your favorite song right now?
My favorite song right now is Shine by this dude named Swoop. I listen to it every morning.
All right. I'll just check it out.
All right.
3 jerseys that you don't own that you want.
Ooh, I thought you were gonna ask me which ones I do own because it's my favorites. 3 jerseys I don't own that I want. Ooh, oh, I want a Dirk Nowitzki jersey. I really do. Being from Dallas, he's an honorary Dallas member from Dallas. So Dirk for sure. T Catch, I don't have. She's like my favorite player of all time, and I do not have her jersey. Like I don't know why, but I just don't have her jersey. Let me think. This last one. Bias on this one, but I don't think I have any of my college jerseys, and I want one. So
What? You didn't
college
take
jersey.
any?
Yeah. I don't have. I know. When I left because like we leave early because of the draft, and I didn't get a chance. Yeah.
Oh, you got to hit up Texas.
Yeah, we'll see what's popping there. If you guys watch this, I would really like to have a jersey, if that's possible.
Hey, I'll tweet them the video for you. What's something people don't know about you?
Something people don't know about me. I guess that I am actually social. I don't talk a lot, but once I get to know you and I feel like you have a spirit, I'll talk to you.
Do you have any hidden talents?
Hidden talents. I can do a headstand. I'm not gonna show you that, but I can do it.
No, I was gonna ask.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that right now.
What about last one? Was there any other sports that you grew up playing that you like wanted to go pro in?
Yeah. This is gonna sound really weird, but I was a artsy kid. And I had to choose between dance and basketball. Basketball is more fun because we got all the time. So of course I chose basketball.
Right.
But yeah, dance.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and could you let the listeners know where they can follow you on social media?
Yeah. Actually, my Twitter got hacked. So if anybody want to help me with that, I'd appreciate it. Yeah. But Instagram, I am Ariel Atkins. That's where you can find me.
Again, appreciate it, and best of luck this season.
No worries. Anytime. Thank you.